Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Morning,
Good,
John.
thank you.
Or Borodar from Wales.
Yeah, so tell me where you are.
We're in, the village is called Madroiling, and that's in West Wales, in Ceredigion. Just to be more specific, we're halfway between Aberystwyth and Cardigan, or on a smaller scale between Aberaeron and Newquay.
Wow. Okay. And who all lives in the house that we're talking about today?
There's myself, Kath, my daughter
Me.
Lucy, who's 15,
Lucy.
and my husband, Paul.
And our little dog, Bella. I can't remember.
Woof!
We've locked her out because
Too
she'd
excited.
take over the whole interview if it was down to our little
Is this the
Yorkshire
husband or the dog we're talking about?
No, he's camera shy. He's staying out of it.
I'm camera shy as well. Don't worry about that. Now, so you live there. How long have you lived in the house?
We've lived in this dormer bungalow 10 years, but we've lived in the village probably around 25 years now.
Wow. Wow. So it's a great room. Now, before we go any further, thank you very much for entering the competition. Tell me about the room that you're sitting in just now and the pictures that you sent me, which were great for helping me understand what we need to do. Tell me about the room just now.
Well, I've got to tell you, John, when I first met my husband, I was a bit of a, well, not a hoarder, but I loved going around car boot sales and collecting little trinkets and little bits like that. And my husband just called them dust collectors, and he hated that sort of thing. We're both quite house proud, so over the years he's sort of discreetly thrown all these little trinkets away, and I have come round to his way of thinking, and I'm quite minimalistic now.
Yeah, less is more. Less is more.
Yeah. But 10 years ago we took this bungalow on, and so much work needed to be done to it. It needed totally renovating. So the lounge was obviously one of the first rooms that we did. And so it's not been decorated since. So at the time, what we did was we wanted a statement wall, and as you can see from the photographs I've sent you, we went for a splash of colour, which I probably think is, looking at it now and having looked at some of the other photographs of some of your other competitors, it's probably a little bit bold and a little bit heavy.
Yeah.
I love my wine-coloured carpets. I mean, we had a wine-coloured carpet in our last house, and that's for one reason only, isn't it? If you drop the wine, you can't see it. So I wouldn't change.
I don't know what you're talking about. Very rarely touch wine or gin or anything like that.
So I wouldn't change the carpet, but the one thing that gets me down, if I'm honest, are the heavy curtains.
Yeah.
They're difficult to draw at night. I think maybe the pelmet's a little bit old-fashioned. And you can see from the photograph, we've got a beautiful view outside. We can see right over the Clain Peninsula.
Beautiful. How did you manage to time that bird just flying by the window at the exact time you were saying that? It's amazing.
You wouldn't believe how many little birds fly into our windows. So we got some stickers, and they actually do work. So we've got one on the window behind us, as you can see.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now I had a really good look at your pictures. And yeah, I agree. I think, when did you say you did the room? 15 years ago?
Approximately 10 years ago, John.
10 years ago. So I think if we go back 10 years, what you've done is exactly what everyone was doing. Big, bold statements. As we've evolved over the last 10, 15 years, things are going a little more subtle. So I think the big, bold statement you made was great then, but I think it is dating the room. It's overpowering the room. It is a lovely room. Those views are to die for. And I think that is one of the biggest things that I would consider changing. But I have created a wee mood board for you. And I wondered if we could have a look at that and tell me what you think. Are you ready?
Okay,
Yeah.
this will be interesting.
Specs on, Lucy.
Sorry.
I
I like the
So,
curtains.
yeah,
yeah.
I like the railing.
straight away.
Yeah.
I love the colours.
Looks lighter.
Yeah, and it looks very calming and
Warm.
very
but
subtle.
yeah.
Yeah, I do like that. And I think it would go very well with our new 3-piece suite. We've waited 25 years to buy a leather 3-piece suite, and all the chairs recline, and this was our treat to ourselves. So I think that those curtains and
I
the
really like
other
them.
decorations would go particularly well. Yeah.
And we've kept in the all-important wine carpet.
Yeah.
Still looks good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Things that are standing out to you on the board?
I like the cushions.
Mm-hmm.
I like the lamp.
Mm-hmm.
I do like a vase of fresh flowers or
Yeah.
something that will contrast with the wallpaper. I'm probably not too keen on the mirror, if I'm honest, John.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something that we can work on, isn't it?
Absolutely. But
And
these are the add-on parts. The way in
yes.
which I would tackle the room, you've invested in your carpet, you've invested in your comfy seating, which is great. The Cornforth white is a really, it's still got a bit of warmth in it because you've still got a lot of heat in the room with the colours of the warm oak. So it will give you a nice balance. But the textured wallpaper now, it doesn't have to specifically be that wallpaper, but rather than paint everything, you could paint the other walls, but your feature wall, especially the chimney breast wall and the chimney wall, is the feature room. You can go a little bit darker there, put a little bit of texture in here. This is a really nice mixture of, and if you look at how that actually almost mirrors the texture of the fabric, just put it together, it's going to pull the warmth of the sofas in. So, I mean, I'll bet the minute you even strip your feature wallpaper off, which was lovely in its time, the minute that comes off, the room's going to feel double size and a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, I'm
So,
just wondering now if we went for more of a subtle wallpaper, it would actually make the room look bigger as well.
Yeah.
And
What I
bring
said,
the outside in.
what you did then was exactly what everybody did. It was big, bold feature statements. All of the companies, excuse me, that I used then as well were exactly the same. They went for big, bold patterns, but a softer texture will make the room feel much, much bigger. So wallpaper, I think, excuse me, is a must. Now, I do love the wine carpet, but I was thinking, see, because your furniture is all pushed around the room, what we need to do is make sure you don't feel as if you're sitting in a waiting room. So even if you kept the furniture, and I know why you've placed it now like that, because you want to maximize the TV, you want to maximize the views, but I think a nice big, if you look bottom left, the luxurious rug. A big rug in the middle of the room with a coffee table will pull everybody together. You'll still be able to see the TV, but you walk into the room and you'll see more of a set out design rather than lovely things pushed all around the walls.
So you would suggest to put the coffee table in the middle of the room then?
Yeah, opposite where the fireplace is, and it's also if you're relaxing, you can, and if it's a good coffee table, you can stick your feet on it. You can pop your cakes. You can pop your glass of hot water or a toddy or a wine or something. It just means it pulls everything together, and you could even do it in the same furniture, like your sideboard here that we're seeing bottom right. Excuse me. You could go for a nice oak, or you could go for a fabric which looks like your curtains or cushions and make a big upholstered stool and put a tray on. I just need something in the room that's going to break up that distance of you standing at the door and there's your two-seater sofa over in the corner. Right. So I think number one, wallpaper is going to completely change everything. The rug will pull everything together. And then the curtains. Now, again, when you chose those, people were into over embellishing their windows. And I think you have over embellished your window. I think,
Definitely.
you know, the pelmet is doing the room no justice.
Right.
It's the right scale, and it's actually bringing the height of the room down. If you look at my suggestion, and you can get these everywhere. Now this is a range that has eyelets at the top, so the pole slides through the hole, so the curtains always sit beautifully,
Right.
just like the picture. And poles with an eyelet system, even a little bit higher when you're redoing it, will completely change the room.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
bring it down a bit, the ceiling, if you look at it.
Yeah, I can see that now, John. I think that's definitely something we'll be looking at.
Yeah, I think it'll give you more light coming in as well, because that pelmet, even though it's not obscuring the light, it's just like a big barrier along the top. And it's just quite heavy. And I think that also, as well as using a fabric like this, will bring everything together, but will fit perfectly, and you'll be able to see more of your windows.
Yeah, I think also it does look quite old-fashioned, and I've got to tell you, at the start of this lockdown, I decided to clean the lounge, and I could not believe how much dust was actually trapped on the pelmet. So that would be another good reason to get rid of that huge pelmet and the big pleats in the curtain.
You know, there's nothing that, you know, again, it was of its time. And also, I'm a big fan of full length curtains. I don't really like curtains. Oh, it doesn't let the heat out. But, you know, most of the time your curtains are open. I think you need full length curtains, because it gives you a big block of texture. And so it's a bit like, curtains are like a sort of feature wallpaper as well. Against maybe the Cornforth white, they're going to give you a lovely texture.
Would you still recommend full length curtains, even though the radiator runs along the front of the window?
Absolutely, yes.
Right.
Yes, yeah. I think it just, and you know, what you might want to do is, if you go for these curtains, is maybe invest in maybe something like a very light roller blind. So in the evening, you just pull the blind down, and these are reasonably inexpensive now, and you can do something that's a kind of sheer. There's, I don't know if you can see behind me now. See these blinds here? So they're actually letting the light in, but in the evening, if I was sitting here in my swimwear dreaming of a holiday rather than a Scotland lockdown, you have a little bit of privacy, and you don't have to close and open and close the curtains all the time. I think that's something I would do. The curtains first, you can still draw them, but a nice simple roller blind, which when pulled up, you know, just disappears into nothing. Just a little bit. And also, if you've seen projects that I've worked on before, I'm a big fan of dressing windows properly. So a nice roller blind with curtains, I think, would work really, really well.
Okay.
I still like your light fitting in the ceiling, because I think it's got a little bit of old charm, a little bit of bling as well. I've suggested in the lighting, which is really important to any room. I very rarely keep an overhead light on. They're really just if you've dropped a stitch or you've lost a contact lens or something. Ambient side lighting works really well. And I notice that in the corner there, you have a floor lamp. Now, I do like it. I like what it's doing, but I think you need a light that's not doing that. You need a light that's doing that. If you get a floor lamp, I'm not suggesting the one that's in my picture there, but a nice floor lamp, even with a nice wine-coloured shade to bring the wine back into the room. In the corner would just give you need ambient light around in this kind of area where you're sitting is much nicer. You don't want this, as you can see, the big shine on my head from the light above. That's just because I'm working with you. It's a working light. But you need ambient light, and it gives you lovely lights and darks and
Yeah,
shades.
yeah. I do like a little bit of light at night, as you say, and yeah.
The other thing now, you do like and I think this is where you bring in other accessories. Yes, a couple of match curtains, but bring that wine color in again. I think the wine colored carpet will work even more effectively when you make everything else a little bit calmer.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Now the mirror, that was really what I was trying to do with that mirror. And, you know, again, as I said to other people, it's a bit like putting on a full outfit and going out at night and making sure you've got the right tie or earrings. You need the right accessories. I would maybe say I was trying to bring the warmth of the wood back into the room.
Right.
But you could go for, as you see, like coppers, like the base of the lamp. And I think if you're going to have a mirror in the room, definitely, and especially since you've got that view, and once you have a softer wallpaper, is put a mirror above the mantelpiece, because you're going to reflect the light back into the room. So when you're not watching TV, you're getting another lovely ambient light.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually growing on me now, John, that mirror, to be honest.
It was just a matter of time. Just a matter of time.
Yeah. So am I right in saying it doesn't have to, the mirror wouldn't have to be the full size of the chimney breast?
No. I mean,
Right.
a lot of people have over mantle mirrors, and it was very fashionable, especially in Victorian times, where you had an over mantle mirror because people sat around the fireplace rather than the TV, and it just created an over ambience. And also, if you were fixing your tie or fixing your hair, it worked effectively. But it doesn't have to be a full width mirror. It could be, and these are really effective. I've actually got one over just 5 minutes. There we go.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it doesn't have. It can be a series of mirrors. It can be a small mirror with a bigger frame, or with this one, the sunburst. I think that's nice because it's not just a mirror. It's like a piece of wall sculpture, a bit like those birds, which actually I used in a show home. See your bird sculpture on the wall, which I think would still works really well. It's just bringing another bit of wall art in.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
So what are you taking away from looking at that blend of things? Can you see it working? Can you imagine it?
Yeah, I can. You've really given me an appetite to change the room now, to be honest.
Oh, fab. I'm happy. So what do you think would be your first task if you're going to move ahead on this?
I think the main tasks would be the curtains and the statement paper.
Yeah. Do the messy work first. You know, I would strip the wallpaper.
Yeah.
Get the husband, get Paul back in, and tell him to get stripping.
Oh, we'll get stuck in. We can do that, can't we, Lisa?
Well, there's 3 of you, and I'd imagine even if you do that, you know, first and foremost, and just settle with it, and then I can send you details of the wallpaper. But I think you will not believe, even if you did that and kept your curtains and took your pelmet off just now, sitting tonight or sitting on Monday watching TV will already be a big difference. Small changes, even just going back the way before you do the big design, can make a big difference.
Yeah, definitely.
Lucy, what do you think of it?
I think the curtains and as you just said, the wallpaper would change it a lot. I think it would make the room look, I think just more modern. I just think it would, you know, yeah, I like the curtain idea. I'm not a fan of the curtains.
Superb. Okay, so you've got your top tips. I'm going to send you this board, and if you are going online, print it off, have a look at different things. I can send you details of curtains and accessories and things. But how are you spending the rest of the day today then?
Well, we're taking advantage, John, of the fact that the weather is so good at the moment, because, you know, the great British weather, it isn't going to stay like this forever. So I'm enjoying the garden at the moment.
I'm finishing painting my bedroom.
Are you painting the
that in it.
picture?
Yeah.
That sounds
We've
interesting.
we're trying to
We've
stay.
got a budding designer there, Catherine.
We're trying to stay fit and healthy, so the three of us have been out for a run and a bike ride this morning. But yeah,
Wow.
Lucy said she's painting a bedroom. She's going from a sort of aqua green colour to greys, and you're sort of halfway through that at the moment, aren't you?
Great. I'd love to see it. Send me some pictures of that, Lucy, as well. We'll have a look at it.
Yeah, we'll send some
Give me
before and after.
Yeah, I've done the before, so
yeah, she's taken some photographs and she's taken them along the way. She's done a little bit of video as well.
Woo!
So,
I think
we'll be
I've
sending
got
you that.
bit of a budding designer there. Just some snapping at my heels. Mind you, this is what happens when you become an interior designer. You go absolutely mental.
Well, we've been watching your Sunday live shows and we've picked up so many tips. So that's what gave Lucy the idea.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm already prepped for tomorrow. I've been out sort of trying to tidy up. I'm doing a bit of gardening. I got a fantastic top tip. I've always been told that I just go on different tangents, but in my garden, I've got a lot of mare's tail weed. I don't know if you get them there. It's awful and it's so prolific, and it looks like tiny little pine trees. If you cut them, they reshoot themselves. If you dig them out, they find it. Anyway, I was watching this YouTube thing. I hope you're catching up on YouTube, anybody that's missing these stories. WD-40.
No way.
Spray your weeds with WD-40.
Oh my goodness, who'd have thought that?
You know, so I looked online, and for this specific weed killer to kill mare's tail was like 50 quid.
Wow.
And I went into my little cubby and found a can of WD-40, and I'll keep you posted. Anyway, why are we talking about WD-40?
That's a really useful tip, to be honest.
You know, see, at the moment, I don't know if like you know, we're spending time, we're connecting with friends and, you know, finding out information. Listen, it's been absolutely lovely meeting you virtually. Hopefully we'll meet in the flesh one day soon. And to see how you progress this project. Lucy, please keep in touch with your project. I'd love to see that. We can talk about that as well. And have a fantastic day.
And you.
Well, thank you, John, for all your help. And we really will take on board all your comments, because I'm really keen to get it done now.
Well, I'll send you much. Get in touch and I'll send you the details of where you can get these things, and they're all extremely affordable. Okay?
Lovely. Thank you. You take care. Have a good weekend.
And you. Bye.
John, take care.